civilization restarts. In today's video, we have a big war. Why am I calling it? Because this nation, the light blue nation, and this dark bluish nation, this green nation, the orange nation, and the pink nation are ending up in another war, along with the beige nation. Yes, a big war. And how to start? Well, the orange nation decided to take back some of its land. This enrages the Green Empire, who decides to go re-liberate it. And as they do this, they accidentally open fire on the German forces trying to liberate it. And this leads to them both being at war already. And well, they can't open that front, so they make a landing over here on this island because of strategic importance. And well, in order of strongest nations, we got this nation, then the orange nation comes second, followed by the beige nation, which is closely followed by that nation. And then the pink nation, and then the blue nation. How are they so strong? Well, they just are. And while the green nation is struggling to gain any upper hand so far, the orange nation is suffering defeats, as the pink nation decides to join. And they manage to gain a lot of support by their allies, as they launch a full-on invasion of theirs. But this nation here decides to start its invasion. And well, when these forces land over here and start an invasion over here, this leads to their entry into the war. And well, this nation sees as an opportunity to show it's a liberator and expand its influence, as that means the orange nation, them, and that nation are all on the same side now, which leads to a certain amount of success here. But as that's happening there, this nation gains the upper hand as they take out this nation, and then they gain the upper hand on top of the beige nation. Within this area, the beige nation takes the advantage. But in another chunk of it, along the coast over here, the orange country advances. And well, this nation, being their ally, decides to start an advance into the northern two areas. With a issue for them holding this area starts to be uncovered as the pink nation decides to go after it, with the beige nation landing in the southern part of it, cutting off it from its colonies. But they decide to use this as a reason to try to take out their colonies here, because then they'll have somewhere to stand. Well, with their failures in the colonial front, there's a lot of problems. And then the red nation takes advantage of this situation to declare independence. And nothing's really done against them, basically. This used to be the mighty red northern nation. Once a mighty nation, now not so much. And well, this front is where everything starts falling apart. And well, then the former, it was kind of like this color, I believe. This nation starts its rebellion. It takes over big chunks of its territory. And well, eventually they fall and form a country. So there's more countries now. Well, more rebellions are likely. But not right now. With them losing that colony and agreeing to let it go, basically. With the Green Nation deciding to open a front against them after they refuse to give them access for their forces to cross. And this leads to a new front line unlocked. And while this nation, the Orange Nation, is actually crumbling beneath the force, with the Beige Nation fearing the Green Nation decides to launch an invasion here, fearing their motives, as this, what would be Northern Europe, is falling to us. And then it does fall, with a big chunk being occupied by both nations. With this front, they also launch another landing over here. With them not being the only nation creating landing, this nation also does. With them creating two of them. With the Beige Nation launching a massive offensive to connect these two fronts. And well, with the Green Nation, or what we would call it, whatever you call it, because I didn't give it a name yet, as they quickly start marching over into this front, leaving them with a small amount occupied. And well, the beginning of the fall has begun for their northern part of their empire, with their main area of their empire falling, which leads to this, which isn't good for their alliance, with the Pink Nation struggling in the colonial front still, although the Beige Nation is starting to crumble in this front, with their collapse beginning as they begin to end up with this being the situation here. With a nice offensive aimed at holding these nations back being launched, with them moving into their nation, their rightful homeland. With the Beige Nation starting to go bankrupt, they decide it's time to put an end to their ability to fight. Get them to withdraw from the war. And well, with their struggle being seen, and then comes the collapse, as the Orange Nation has finally been defeated, with them aiming to defeat this nation now. They may only be able to defeat on this front, but defeat nonetheless is all they needed. And managing to get all the nations to want to go for peace, as these two colonies manage to fall. They all decide to meet for peace. In some fronts, they might do better than others. So let's see how the peace treaty goes. Now for the peace treaty. Broken out. That leaves the nation weak, which leads them to decide to release a nation. The Pink Nation. Wait, no, that would look like another nation. Yeah, probably both. I think that, yeah, it's a noticeable difference after rebellions. Well, here, a Yellow Nation revolts, mostly in these areas. Then they decide to move their revolutionary movements around, as they quickly manage to occupy this and take it back. What was theirs has been returned. Now you can see all the nations expanded except the Orange Nation, but they did expand here and there. They just lost some of their core lands. And while the Green Empire spread its influence and power, becoming the first power. This is not the second power anymore. And that's all for today's video. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Wild Mapper out. Bye, guys.